Hi, welcome to Professor R.J. Placone on Communication Excellence. Today, we're going to talk about Donald Trump and the affordability issue. It's been very much in the news, especially since last week's election. And the question becomes, can Donald Trump and the Republicans recapture the affordability issue? They did quite well in the last presidential election on that issue, when essentially the Democrats were denying that there was an affordability issue. The Democrats were saying, hey, the economy is great. Look at the stock market. And for average folks, the economy wasn't great. It was a tough job market. It was tough in the grocery stores. And now we see some of that playing out with the Republicans and with Trump. Trump's been questioned about affordability a lot since the election, and he's somewhat denied it, saying, hey, we've done a great job on grocery prices. The fake news media just won't report it. The only area that he has accepted that prices are up is in beef. The price of beef is up. But I think for the Republicans to recapture that particular issue, I think it's going to be difficult for them because the Democrats have seized on it. And it wasn't just in New York and Virginia and New Jersey. Those were major campaign themes around cost of living and what can you afford and how can you afford housing, etc. So for the Republicans, first, that they have to admit that there is an issue, that it's not just about fake news, and you can't globally say that the prices are down and it's much better than it was under Biden. There are areas where prices are down, but there are a lot of areas where they're either the same or they're up. And people face that day to day. And the job market is not a good market right now for people trying to enter that market. Secondly, you have to plan to do something about it. You have to make a concentrated effort to try to help reduce prices. I think it has to be more than having the DOJ start to look into the beef industry to see why prices are up for box beef. I think there has to be something more than that. But a primary reason why I think this might remain a Democratic talking point and more favors the Democrats is because there's a linkage between affordability and wealth inequality. One of the things, if you look at Mondani, he emphasized that the wealthy need to pay more. They need to pay more to help make things more available to average residents of New York. I think that theme is going to become more and more prominent. That linkage between affordability, taxation rates, who's paying their fair share. Is it right that, Elon Musk is on his way to being the first trillionaire? Is that right? When you see, especially younger generations, disillusioned with capitalism, I think part of the reason why is we've never seen levels of wealth inequality as we have today. So I think whoever is going to own and really make gains through the affordability issue needs to acknowledge it. They need to have a plan on how to address high prices and to make things like housing more affordable for folks. And they need to be willing to link it to wealth inequality, taxation structure, and trying to get more money flowing down to the lower incomes. I think a lot of the country was quite surprised that 42 million people rely on government assistance for food. That is a strikingly large number in a country as wealthy as the United States. So I think as more and more comes to light, I think as we start moving toward midterm elections and then eventually a 2028 presidential election, the affordability issue is going to remain front and center. I think it's going to be a more difficult issue for the Republicans to capitalize on. And I think it's probably a winning issue for the Democrats, but long way off. We'll see what happens with the economy. We'll take it a day at a time. Thank you so much. Have a great day.